Hi, it's Craig from Farmer Canton. Welcome back to our channel. It's been a while since I last did a video. I think snow might have been still on the ground, but I wanted to give you a quick update on the permaculture orchard. So for those of you who don't know what a permaculture orchard is, think of having an orchard where you're picking from an apple tree and then you're moving around and then you're picking from a cherry tree, and then you move around again and there's a hazelnut tree, or over here it might be a plum tree. That is what we are working on. Around each tree is a similar concept, a variety of different berry bushes. So you might have a gooseberry next to a Saskatoon berry, next to a red currant, next to a black raspberry, etc., etc. At this time, we just finished putting compost on the new trees. So now our orchard is still a long way to go to get to our goal of 10,000 trees. But we're now at 150 and we have about 250 berry bushes. So a big shout out to those of you who support us on Patreon, those of you who support us by buying chicken and duck eggs. We can't do this without your support, and I am eternally grateful. If those of you who are interested in supporting our efforts to grow 10,000 fruit trees to help with food insecurity in our community, have a look at our Patreon page, have a look at our website. If you feel so compelled, we will welcome your support. Now I want to show you some of the trees that we have planted. So I know it doesn't look like much just yet, but think 3 to 5 years down the road. All those brown mounds, that's where the compost dressing is for all the trees. I'm just doing a 360 so you get a look. We still got lots of work to do, but it gives you a bit of a sense of what we've accomplished so far this season. And it's only early May. So here is a black raspberry, and then right next to it is a black gooseberry, and then across from it is an Asian pear. Next to the Asian pear is a sour cherry. Here's a silver buffalo berry. So every third tree in the orchard, except for where we made mistakes, which we will ignore, we have what's called a nitrogen fixer. Most plants require nitrogen for them to grow well, and that's where when you buy fertilizer in the store like Miracle-Gro, you'll look in there and it has nitrogen in it. Nitrogen fixers are trees and sometimes bushes and other types of plants that take the nitrogen out of the air and place it into the ground at the tip of the roots in these little balls that are called nodules. And by putting nitrogen back in the ground, all the bushes and trees around it, like there, like there, like there, like there, they will all benefit from that nitrogen fixer. So that's why 1 out of every 3 trees is either a honey locust or a buffalo berry or a sea berry. And some of them also produce fruit as well. But honey locusts don't, but they grow really tall and really narrow. So you can then put vines on it, like grapes or kiwi or beans or peas. And here we have hybrid plum. It's a purple plum. And here's a red currant. Next to the red currant, that's a honey locust, that little stick. It will eventually be a really tall leafy stick. Here's a red apple, and it's surrounded by a honeyberry, which is another type of bush. Beside that is a Saskatoon berry. This is something that we planted last year. Here's another variety of plum, American hybrid superior plum. And here we have a thornless blackberry bush. still dormant. They'll start growing again in the next week or two. Here's a yellow apple, Gold Rush. We have a peach tree in the orchard. We're going to have a lot more, but we didn't focus on these types of trees this year or last year. But we have one so far. And there's a companion to the peach tree. It's a nectarine. We got one nectarine so far, similar to the peach. We will expand the number and the varieties of these fruit trees probably next year. I think next year we're going to focus on getting more cherries and apricots and peach and nectarines and get some pawpaws. Bet you don't know what pawpaw is yet, do you? We have a few types of cherries. We have a sour cherry, we have a few sweet cherries, and we also have a white cherry that we got last year. Here's another apple tree. It's a yellow transparent. We have two types of apricots on the property right now. This is a white flesh apricot. The great thing about this orchard is that we're able to get through nursery in Southern Ontario different types of fruit trees that most people don't realize you can grow here. We are in a zone 5A climate. I usually treat it as more of a 4B just because we're on the top of a hill. You can see down there. So we get a lot of wind in here. So I treat it more of a 4B. The lower the number on the zone scale, the more winter and cold tolerant your trees or your bushes need to be. Like rhubarb is a zone 1. You can grow rhubarb up in Yellowknife or Whitehorse. So all these trees here, they're either a zone 4 or a zone 5 or lower. I don't go above zone 5, although we do have, if you can see that, there's a frame that we got from one of our Patreon supporters. That used to be a garage. We got the frame from them for free. Thank you so much for that. And we're going to put some plastic on that, and that's going to become a greenhouse for us, or a cold frame, if you will. And haven't decided yet what we're going to plant in there, but more likely than not, we're going to be putting in more trees and bushes, and maybe this is where we're going to be a staging ground to start taking cuttings as we prune and put them in soil and try and get them to root, and then we can get more trees at a more cost-effective manner. So that's a little sampling of what's in the orchard at the moment. Like I said, we have over 150 trees in here now. It's 1.5% of the 10,000 trees that we aim to grow in phase A, but it's a start, and we have about 250 odd berry bushes. So there's a lot more varieties, a few other species in here. If you're in the Ottawa area and you're interested in having a tour from a social distant perspective, we can look into that. Or you can wait until some of the restrictions are eased further, and then we can definitely help take you around. So that's it for this video. Please subscribe to our channel, or hit the thumb, the up thumb. Don't feel free to check our website, check our Patreon page. If you have questions, if you want to know more about what we're doing, the email address is down below. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you next time.